There are claims online that Ellen DeGeneres left the United States shortly before new information about the Jeffrey Epstein case became public. Some people, including Katt Williams, have suggested possible connections to Ghislaine Maxwell, though these claims remain unproven and widely debated.
Her stories have changed so many times about what happens, when it happens, how it happens, with different versions. And each time she speaks, there's a different version.
And that is from the documentary that's just aired in the United States. That's come just off the satellite. For more, we're joined by US broadcaster Cooper Lawrence to dissect it. What did you make of Ghislaine Maxwell?
It reminded me of Nobody Taught Me How to Curtsy and I Didn't Inhale. There was a lot of this evidence that came out during the trial that suddenly she's like, no, it's fake. I mean, during the trial, they showed her that photo and she said, yeah, that's me, that's my apartment, I recognize it. And, it was one of the things that indicted her. Now suddenly it's a fake photograph.
On June 28, 2022, Ghislaine Maxwell was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison for her role in helping Jeffrey Epstein carry out illegal activities. She was also ordered to pay a large fine. Reports showed that she acted as a recruiter, bringing victims to him over several years. She was found guilty on multiple charges related to these actions. Around the same period, Ellen DeGeneres ended her long-running show after facing workplace criticism and then stepped away from public life for some time.
Ellen DeGeneres and her wife Portia de Rossi have reportedly fled the US, bound for the UK, after Donald Trump's landslide victory. Numerous publications are reporting the couple have left the United States permanently. There are also reports the couple have put their Montecito mansion on the market. Entertainment publication The Wrap has the exclusive story and said, Ellen DeGeneres and wife Portia de Rossi have moved to rural England, put their Montecito estate on the market and plan to never return to the United States, telling friends the election of Donald Trump was their primary motivation. Ellen DeGeneres has been a vocal Trump critic, so the move doesn't come as a surprise to most.
They're losing their minds.
She sounded so sincere, didn't she?
Very
she could
sincere.
Virtually choke on her words. But the best one for me is Ellen DeGeneres, who is, by the way, a very nasty person. I've had dealings with her in Australia.
Bit of
could I tell you some stories about that cow? But anyway, good riddance to her. But she was quite friendly with that P. Diddy bloke, wasn't she?
Well, this is why I say release the Diddy files.
Yeah.
Release the Diddy files. Come on, Donald Trump. We want to know whose name.
So maybe she's hightailing out of there before all that is thrown at her as well. But what a bunch of hypocrites.
Some people see these events as connected, but there is no confirmed proof. Around that time, Ellen DeGeneres stepped away from the spotlight, and the passing of Stephen Twitch Boss also shocked many. He had worked closely on her show as an executive producer. Reports said he had been dealing with stress and personal struggles. Claims about a note and hidden industry issues have circulated online, but they remain unverified. It is important to rely on confirmed facts and avoid spreading information that has not been proven true.
We're learning more tonight about the tragic side of Stephen Twitch Boss and the detailed steps he took to hide his plans. TMZ is reporting when Twitch left his home the day before he took an Uber to a motel about a mile away. At the motel, he switched his phone to airplane mode so no one could reach him. The motel manager says he checked in under his own name and never left his room. We also now know that Twitch left a suicide note. Details have not been made public, but TMZ reports the note alluded to challenges Twitch had faced in the past. Entertainer Tyler Perry knows firsthand what that is like.
I want to take you back to a time in my life where I tried to commit suicide a couple of times because it was so dark. I thought the only way to make this better, this pain go away, is to end my life. Had any of those attempts happened, I would have missed the best part of my life.
Some people believe these events are connected, but there is no solid proof to support that claim. Ellen DeGeneres ended her show around the same time Ghislaine Maxwell was sentenced, which led to speculation. Katt Williams has also shared opinions suggesting that nothing in Hollywood happens by chance, but these views remain personal beliefs, not confirmed facts.
For the type of ratings we need and attention to be on this thing. See, what I'm saying is, in business, nothing is coincidental, or you would be hearing who's losing money. In all of these situations, it's only the artist that's losing. Somebody makes big money. When these rappers get killed, not incidental. Somebody made $100 million and now don't have to talk to that artist or none of their crew, don't have to validate none of their contracts. Now only got to deal with the mama, only got to see her once a year, and it's over. And the money goes up and up and up. So they killed this $20 million guy, but they reaped $60 million in benefits.
Wow.
And they had some people from your city do it.
Wow.
I'm saying there's the good side and the bad side of these businesses.
But think about what you just think about what you just said. That's extremely thoughtful and powerful. It could only be what it was if it were those two. Those two, yes. Will Smith and Chris Rock. It could only be what it has been, yes. With those two black men.
If you put any other names together, the police are out on stage, they've cut to commercial, you didn't see what happened. By the time they come out, people have been removed, it goes on. It's certain ways things are handled when it's not intentional. When things go smoothly, but they seem chaotic, that means there was forethought and a plan. Somebody, even if it looks like, yeah, Janet Jackson just had a wardrobe malfunction. Yeah, there's no such thing.
Correct.
I don't care who you blame.
I believe that.
Somebody benefited. Yeah. So in all of these situations, there's a business involved and there's real money involved, and somebody's benefiting from this thing that looks like, oh, that just happened. Nah, no way. No way.
As more documents related to Jeffrey Epstein have been discussed online, some viewers have started comparing past moments from Ellen DeGeneres' show to those claims. People are pointing out certain jokes or topics and trying to connect them to serious allegations linked to Epstein and figures like Peter Nygård. However, many of these comparisons come from speculation and online discussions rather than confirmed evidence, so it's important to separate verified facts from rumors.
Let's talk about this facial that you're obsessed with. How many did you get the whole cast of Ocean's 8 to do this?
Not everybody.
Okay, good, smart ones.
Just those that I thought would appreciate it.
Okay, explain what it is.
Well, it's this way in which one forces through microneedling. It's like a little roller with these, I think many of you know it, and it pushes through the skin and ruptures the collagen and then boosts it. You look like a burn victim for a day, but then it pushes the
What are you pushing into the skin, Sandra?
Sarah?
Carrie? What are you pushing into the skin?
Well, you push in whatever the facialist would like to insert into your pores.
But what is it?
It is an extraction from a piece of skin that came from a young person far, far away, and they somehow figured out how to extract.
It's foreskin from a Korean baby.
Some people claim that other public figures were involved in similar trends, but these ideas mainly come from critics and online discussions. In 2016, Steve Harvey interviewed Michelle Park, where skincare products were mentioned, including items linked to brands like SkinMedica, which use lab-grown cells in their formulas. While the company explains this as part of scientific research in skincare, some people have created theories around it. There are also claims connecting celebrities like Oprah Winfrey to these products, but these ideas are not supported by verified evidence and remain speculative.
I'm going to put a little on your hand.
I'll do that. Oprah did.
Yeah, Oprah did it. All right, so here, we're going to rub it right in.
How come it's red?
I'll show you in a sec, Steve. So this is made from growth hormones of human...
Look, the wrinkles has just disappeared. I can't even ball my hand up.
So it's made from human foreskin.
Steve.
You done sat up here and squirted somebody's private parts in my damn hair. What you laughing at?
I'm sorry.
This your last time on the show. This your last time. Not coming up in here.
Some reports claim that Chris Hansen looked into allegations connected to Jeffrey Epstein and found there were many serious accusations being discussed. Certain documents and online claims suggest Epstein had unusual ideas about genetics and aging. However, statements about cloning or sending cells as treatments are not confirmed by reliable evidence and mostly come from speculation. It is important to rely on verified information, as many of these claims go beyond what has been proven in official investigations.
Billionaire freakazoid. Yes. And part of his deal, he's in prison in jail up in Canada, waiting, charges all over the globe. But his deal was that he would allegedly impregnate young women in the Bahamas, where he had a huge home, and then have them get abortions and harvest their stem cells of the fetuses to inject in himself as the fountain of youth. And we get into this in that documentary. And was Epstein involved in that sort of activity? I don't know.
That's where, and again, we just have to look at what we have and know what we don't yet.
Yeah.
But it's a question.
Yeah,
when you
it's
look at the
it's
context
a legitimate
of the jerky
question.
stuff.
Yeah, and when you look at what other billionaire guys have done, were they in contact somehow? I mean, obviously, there are some people who are in the concentric circles of associates.
Katt Williams spoke on the Joe Rogan Experience, sharing his personal views about powerful people in entertainment. He suggested that some individuals misuse their influence, and he mentioned names like Sean Diddy Combs and Jeffrey Epstein. But these claims are opinions, not proven facts.
That's why those one world people exist, because it's a very powerful concept to have and far too lucrative and beneficial to not. Everybody is a supplier. Epstein, Weinstein, like these guys knew what these extremists liked and provided it, and provided the way for you to to have $1 billion and not create a fantasy island type environment has not existed throughout history.
Right.
Some people who believe these theories say there were hidden messages in the Ellen DeGeneres show that may have tried to make certain behaviors seem normal. They also claim these ideas connect to what was said about Jeffrey Epstein and his activities, although there is no clear proof for many of these claims. Katt Williams once spoke in an interview with Theo Von about how surprised he was by the level of influence in the entertainment industry. He mentioned Harvey Weinstein and said he was offered opportunities in exchange for staying quiet and helping others get involved. These statements are serious, but they are still claims and have not been fully proven. Virginia Giuffre was one of the first people to speak publicly about how Jeffrey Epstein operated. She explained that he did not act alone and relied on a network of people to bring others into his circle. According to her account, he had souls. One of the most well-known was Ghislaine Maxwell, who was later convicted. Many believe there were others involved who were never identified or charged, raising ongoing questions about the full extent of the operation. She was only discovered because her actions became too large to hide. She brought many young people into Epstein's circle, often choosing those who were struggling or in need of support. She approached teenagers who lacked money or stability and introduced Epstein as someone kind who could change their lives. Several victims later shared that the most disturbing part was her method of finding them during their weakest moments. She used their difficult situations to pressure them, making them feel trapped and unable to refuse what was being asked of them.
She had no remorse in her voice. Ghislaine has no soul. And you know yourself what I've been through trying to take her down. And the reason why I've had to go through that is because she's a dangerous human being. She will reoffend, and reoffend. These people never stop, ever.
So you were abused by both of them in your very first encounter?
Yeah, both of them. I was abused by Ghislaine and Epstein, and it broke my heart. I don't mean to sound sexist in any way, shape, or form. I don't hate men. I'm not a man hater, but I expected it from a man, but I didn't expect it from a woman. And so I think that's what still hurts me the most to this day is that, you know, as a mom, as a wife, as a sister, as a daughter, I couldn't imagine putting someone through what she put me through. And yeah, I think that's what
An old interview with Ghislaine Maxwell recently started spreading online again. In that clip, she seemed to confirm what many people had suspected for a long time. She suggested that Epstein was kept from speaking so that influential people linked to him would not be revealed. Reports say that over 400 well-known figures from different countries have already been connected to his network. It makes people wonder how many more names could have come out if he had been able to talk openly. There were also millions of documents with hidden details, and that may only be part of the full picture.
Fox News alert: the Department of Justice just dropped last month's jailhouse interview with Epstein Madam Ghislaine Maxwell. And it's a doozy. First, she doesn't think Epstein killed himself.
So you think he did not die by suicide, given all the things we just talked about?
I do not believe he died by suicide, no.
And do you believe that, do you have any speculation or view of who killed him?
No, I don't.
And what about Epstein's infamous client list? Did he even have a list?
You never observed, or you never saw any sort of list or black book or a list of individuals who, linked to certain masseuses or
Absolutely
anything
no.
like that?
Absolutely no. There is no list. There is no. I'm not aware of any blackmail. I never heard that. I never saw it, and I never imagined it.
The list doesn't exist? So flight manifests don't exist? The surveillance tapes don't exist? The bank records don't exist? Well, what about Trump? The media spent the last couple months trying to smear him as Epstein's predator pal.
I don't recall ever seeing him in his house, for instance. I actually never saw the president in any type of massage setting. I never witnessed the president in any inappropriate setting in any way. The president was never inappropriate with anybody. In the times that I was with him, he was a gentleman in all respects.
And did you ever hear Mr. Epstein or anybody say that President Trump had done anything inappropriate with masseuses or with anybody in your world?
Absolutely never. In any context.
A good portion of the interview focused on Bill Clinton. Author Daniel Halper told Primetime Clinton was romantically involved with Maxwell. Would Ghislaine sell out her old flame? And she was asked about Bill and said he never did anything inappropriate and that Bill never went to Epstein's island.
There are also claims that people who speak out, like Katt Williams, are being pressured to stay quiet. He has said that powerful groups are getting closer to him, and he feels it may not be long before they try to stop him too.
I infiltrate the Illuminati, find out what the fuck they got going on, get the information, run back to y'all, tell y'all everything I know. That's my motherfucking job. But I don't know how many more times I'm gonna be able to sneak in there. Thanks to Shannon Sharp and 90 million views, I can't sneak very often. So while I was in there this last time, knowing that my last report might be my last report, I went in there and I got information for everybody. Look at my white friends. Us too? That's right, white secrets.
To understand how much information is still hidden, some emails released by the DOJ show Epstein discussing victims with other powerful people. Even so, the documents do not reveal who those individuals are. Many parts of these records have been blacked out, leaving important details missing. In fact, a huge number of files are heavily edited, making it difficult to know the full story and keeping those involved from being clearly identified.
Question: which one do you prefer, lewd and lascivious conduct or procuring murders for prostitution? I suppose lewd and lascivious conduct. I would prefer lewd and lascivious conduct with a prostitute if possible. That exchange between Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell on May 23, 2008 is part of some 18,000 emails from Epstein's personal Yahoo account obtained by Bloomberg News.
The emails, which suggest the inbox was most active between 2005 and 2008, include messages spanning 2002 to 2022. Epstein died in 2019, and ends received after that are largely spam or marketing offers. Overall, the emails offer a raw look into the disgraced financier and sex offender's world.
While this inbox wasn't the only one he used, the newly uncovered emails do suggest how central Maxwell was to his life, something that contradicts her telling of events. She's characterized herself as a former girlfriend and property manager for Epstein, not someone with eyes into his vast influence machine or sex trafficking operation. She's currently serving a 20-year sentence for conspiring with Epstein to sexually abuse minors. Maxwell was central to curating Epstein's inner circle, according to these emails. In some emails, she's organizing visits with the likes of Sergey Brin and his then-girlfriend Anne Wojcicki.
Even after being found guilty, Ghislaine Maxwell was moved to a lower security prison where she received special comforts, including having a small pet. According to another inmate, her daily life there is not like that of others, and she is treated in a more favorable way. It was also said that she showed no regret for her actions. When victims shared their stories publicly, she appeared indifferent and showed no concern. As more details continue to come out, people question why she seems to receive better treatment despite the seriousness of the situation.
I know for a fact she's getting special treatment.
Les Trent spoke to Sam Mangle, a prison consultant who has 3 clients at the same facility as Maxwell, the Bryan Federal Prison Camp in Texas.
Whether it's access to a laptop computer, which is unheard of, to visits where they lock down the camp and no one can leave their bunks while she's having visitors.
Allegations of other perks, according to the New York Times, include meals being delivered to her cell and being served bottled water while other inmates drink tap water, playing with service dogs, showering alone, and watching TV alone in staff-only areas. They even provided her with an umbrella to shade her from the hot Texas sun while she took her daily walks.
She's been given the freedom and liberties that the other inmates do not have.
Last July, Maxwell was moved from a medium security prison in Florida to the minimum security camp in Texas. This followed her meeting with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. According to reports, fellow inmates at the facility were threatened with solitary confinement or transferred to a tougher penitentiary if they voiced complaints about Maxwell's perks.
They've been told from the day she got there, do not discuss her, do not put anything in writing, do not talk about her on the phone, do not make any trouble regarding Miss Maxwell, or we will move you
As
to
new
another
documents continue to come out and more voices begin to share their stories, it is clear that this situation is still unfolding. If you want to keep up with the latest updates, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you stay informed. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments as well.